Hey, my name is Z, and welcome back to ZC Culture. Today we're going to be talking about when should you hold yourself accountable. Let's get into the video. This is a big topic that I feel like many people that are young adults and adults should be talking about, is when people should hold themselves accountable. This is not something that is often talked about, and it's being talked about in micro subgroups of like the internet and YouTube and things like that, but it's not being talked about on a wide scale. And I think it's something that is actually very important to talk about. This is a hypothetical question, but it's also a question you can answer in the comments down below. But when should people start holding themselves accountable as adults? We all have things that make us who we are that was caused by outside influences. But some of these things are not so good. And sometimes we have to self-reflect and think like, how can I change this? How can I not just be a product of my environment or the people around me? Be honest and blunt with yourself, because that's the only time the real truth comes out and you can actually start holding yourself accountable and seeing what you were responsible for and maybe your environment and the other people around you were responsible for. This is not dismissing the fact that as soon as you come out of your mother's womb, you are being influenced by your environment and the people around you. So this is not saying that dismissing those facts, but when do you hold yourself accountable? Every time there is a discussion about influences and what made you do something, I would like to challenge you and actually have you question yourself. When do we start holding ourselves accountable if all of these influences affected us from the time of birth? Should nobody be accountable for their actions if there is influences to everyone? Some influences can cause people to do really horrible things, but as an adult, because this page is for young adults and adults, when do you start holding yourself accountable as a young adult or an adult? You can't just keep blaming it on the environment or the people around you, because the outside of your little bubble, because unfortunately in the United States and other places around the world that is influenced by the United States, they have these bubbles that you can get distracted by what's around you, and you think that what's around you is the mass majority, but unfortunately that's not how it is. And also the grand majority of people, like in the world, in the different levels of society, doesn't really care about your personal influences and things that affect you. So you have to be responsible to make sure that you can get yourself out of those situations and get to a better place. The things that people misinterpret when the conversations come up about accountability is when people say that when you hold yourself accountable, you're taking all of the responsibility and nothing is anyone else's fault. That's not what accountability is. It is recognizing that you are responsible for at least something that happened with that situation. It's not saying that no one or anything else was responsible for what just happened, but it is saying that you had some part to play in it. That aspect alone is kind of hard for people to grasp. Almost everything have gray areas. And a lot of people don't like to see gray areas because they are undefined. And when you go into these gray areas of what accountability is in a situation, sometimes that can lead to one person holding more accountability than they really want to admit. And unfortunately, that's not good for society or being an adult or being productive. Like I said previously, when you are putting the responsibility onto someone else, it leaves you with the feeling of you did nothing wrong and you have nothing to change. But a lot of times that is not the case in a lot of situations. Most people have some part to play in the situation. It makes you not really be honest with yourself and get better. This video is to basically make people aware of accountability with themselves in situations, because I've seen this as a big trend on social media and just people that I talk to that may not hold themselves accountable to the degree that they should when it comes to situations. I believe that being more accountable in situations as an adult can actually make you better, because you're identifying your weaknesses, where you went wrong, and you're seeing what you can do better. And you're also identifying the influences that people in situations have on you, where you can address it better. You can learn how to go into the situation differently, knowing that these things are influencing you. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.